welcome to tonight's interview. I have the pleasure to have with me Roberto, Nini, and Mauro Belvedere, who are going to take us onto a journey of discovery in beautiful Narni, a little town in Umbria. Buonasera e benvenuti. Welcome to the program. So some people might not be familiar with this lovely town that I had the pleasure to come and visit 2 summers ago. So let's try to put it onto the map. Where is Narni located, and what are some of the things that it offers to the tourists? Quindi parliamo un attimo di Narni, non tutti potrebbero sapere dove si trova e tutto quello che potrebbe offrire al turista che viene a trovarvi. Prego.
Okay, my name is Mauro. Nice to meet everybody. Okay, Narni is in the middle of the geographic center of Italy. Okay, we are close to Rome. But the real name was Narnia. We've been conquered by the Romans 299 before Christ. So we've been called Narnia for around 2,000 years, then changed the name to Narni. Narnia was a very famous, important town due to our location, strategical location, because we are just at the beginning of the Umbria region. Okay, as I told you, close to Rome. So, go to Rome to the Adriatic Sea, you must cross our valley. So that's why we were so important. And that's why C.S. Lewis, the Chronicles of Narnia author, found our name in a very old Italian, Latin map. And he liked our name, so he took our name for his tales. Okay, this is part of
the Chronicles of Narnia. So the actual place does exist, and it's located in beautiful Narni, Umbria. So this is a very charming town, è una città molto piacevole. Sometimes it takes you back because you can see the candle makers, you can see all the artisans, they still have their shops there. So walk us a little bit through the town. So Mauro, tell us a little bit about those, artisans that still have, I don't know, the candle making shops.
Okay.
And,
as you told before, we have several shops. We make candles, we make food. Okay, our area is quite famous also for the wine, the famous chili giollo, and we make a very good olive oil. But we also have some shops make a kind of shoes with the leather.
With the leather shoes.
And what else? Help me, Roberto. These are the 2 kind of handcrafts.
Okay.
And then Narni, before, as I told you, okay, we are in industrial area. We've been in industrial area for many years. Okay, the people maybe don't know, but this area, the first hydrological plant has been built here in Narni. Okay, so we are quite famous for the industry section too.
Okay.
Steam, carbon, many years ago, and electricity. I mean, hydrological plant.
Okay.
Energia pulita.
Yes, clean energy. Yes, clean energy. So my husband and I we were just traveling around Umbria. We went to see the lentils fields, and at some point we stumble upon Narni. We start walking around, taking pictures, getting some souvenirs. And walking down this street, we find out that it was going to be a Narni underground, Narni sotterranea. And we didn't really know much about it. So we approached the ticket window. We got a brochure and we started reading. I said, that's fascinating. And the tours were scheduled. When we were there, they were already sold out. the next one was just a couple of hours later, and we said, okay, that will give us the excuse to enjoy some good Umbrian food and then come back for the store. Well, before we get to the juicy part of today's conversation, I would like to reintroduce Roberto Nini. Roberto, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your biggest passion in life? Raccontaci un pochino di te, Roberto, qual è una delle tue passioni più grandi nella vita?
I'm sorry for my English, but I prefer to speak Italian.
Va benissimo.
La mia passione è stata sempre la speleologia, che è un'attività per esplorare il sottosuolo. E poi da grande ho studiato per diventare archeologo, sono un archeologo.
Okay, so Roberto's life passion has always been caving and exploring, spelunking, and then when he also has a degree, he's an official archaeologist. At what age did you actually start developing this passion for spelunking? A che età hai iniziato a sviluppare questa passione per la speleologia?
16 anni.
So he was 16. Mm-hmm.
E poi tuttora ho questa passione, che ormai sono diventato grande, molto grande, ormai sono diventato anziano.
So that is a passion that he has developed since he was 16 years old, and now he's a grown-up, and that continues to be his biggest passion. Were you practicing spelunking, caving by yourself or with other friends? Questa passione per la speleologia era tutta tua o condivisa con o da altri amici?
Allora, è una passione che non si può fare da soli, perché in grotta bisogna andarci almeno 3 persone, quindi con altri amici. Un gruppo di 6 persone, i miei amici erano anche più piccoli di me e tuttora siamo grandi amici.
Okay, so yes, this type of activity is definitely not something that you would be doing by yourself. You actually need to do it with some other friends, and so it was 6 of them, and they continue to be still wonderful friends. Okay, now let's go back in time, 1979, okay? And I'm going to try to share a picture. You're going to tell us who is who, okay? Hold on one second. Facciamo un salto nel tempo. 1979, una bella fotografia in bianco e nero. Dici chi sono queste persone, ok?
Allora, la prima in alto a sinistra è mio fratello Giovanni, quello col cappello è Marco, a fianco c'è Massimo, sotto ci sono io, quello esatto, poi c'è Mauro e l'altro Mauro, sono 2 che si chiamano Mauro.
Okay, so here in this picture from 1979, we have Roberto's brother on top left, then we have Marco, we have Massimo, then we have Roberto, and then Mauro and Mauro. So this was a very special day for you, una giornata particolare. Cosa stavate facendo? What were you doing? Why were you so excited that day? Perché eravate così entusiasti di andare a fare un'altra missione quel giorno?
Perché avevamo una corda nuova e siccome non avevamo i soldi per comprarla, ce l'avevano regalata e per noi era un grande regalo. E così così siamo scesi con questa corda nuova e abbiamo incontrato un signore anziano che ci indicò un buco in mezzo a delle macerie.
Okay, so they were very excited because actually being so young, they didn't really have any money, and someone had gifted them a new rope. So they were excited to go and try that rope. While they were using this rope, they ended up onto someone's backyard. Quindi siete arrivati nel giardino di questo signore. Se non sbaglio, forse questo signore si era anche alterato, che eravate atterrato sui cavoli o su qualcosina. So if I remember correctly, this man was not really pleased about their visit because one of the kids landed on his cauliflower. È vero?
È vero, tutto vero. E alla fine però ci perdonò e ci fece vedere un buco e ci disse, secondo me qua dietro a questo buco c'è un tesoro, se lo trovate facciamo metà per uno.
Okay, so this gentleman, despite the fact of being a little upset about the ruined cauliflower, he actually told these young explorers that there was a hole and that they should go and look into, because he thought there was a treasure, and if they had found a treasure, then they would split 50-50. So for someone that is into caving, the word hole or buco is like really opening up a lot of curiosity. Quindi per voi speleologi, quando una persona dice c'è un buco, c'è un qualcosa da andare a esplorare, sicuramente i vostri occhi si sono aperti. What was your reaction? Che reazione avete avuto a questa piccola informazione che vi era stata data?
Beh, abbiamo sperato che ci fosse il tesoro davvero, questo sicuro.
I really hope there was a real treasure in there.
E poi quando siamo entrati attraverso quel buco abbiamo visto due occhi che erano gli occhi di un affresco di un angelo, gli occhi di un angelo dipinto.
So obviously, you know, they were totally into this finding this treasure, and when they went through this little hole, what they did see was two eyes coming from a fresco. Just, you know, how big was that hole? Questo buco che dimensioni aveva? Nel senso che siete riusciti a passare in maniera abbastanza semplice, o avete già là iniziato un pochino? Avete dovuto scavare un pochino?
Abbastanza stretto, bisognava allargarlo un po'.
So the hole was a little narrow, they had to make it a little wider.
Eravamo abituati a scendere nei passaggi stretti, quindi...
So they were obviously used to go down narrow passages. Due occhi, two eyes. What was the who was the first one that actually got to see the eyes? Chi è stato il primo a vedere gli occhi?
Sono stato io.
Roberto, you were the ones that saw the eyes. Okay. Were they eyes of animals, of a person, or abstract? Tell us a little more about these two eyes. Raccontaci un altro pochino, animali, occhi di animale, occhi di donna, di uomo, astratti.
Erano gli occhi di un angelo, era San Michele Arcangelo, un dipinto di San Michele Arcangelo.
So those were the eyes of the Archangel Michael, so it was a fresco.
E da lì abbiamo capito che si trattava di una chiesa, quindi qualcosa di importante.
So from this detail, they assumed that probably this was part of a church, and therefore there was something more important to discover. Quindi cosa avete fatto? Sicuramente si sono intrufolati tutti hanno voluto vedere, e cosa avete deciso di fare? So I'm sure everyone wanted to take a peek at these two eyes. As a group, what did you decide to do?
Di continuare e guardare la stanza successiva e vedere cosa c'era nascosto.
So they decided to go forward and go into the next room and see what was around. Quando parliamo di stanza successiva, non è che era così facile, cioè si vedeva che c'era un'altra stanza, oppure là avete dovuto iniziare a spostare, farvi altri...
Si vedeva.
Okay. So they could see that there was a second space. So, okay, continue, take us in this underground journey. What else? What happened? What's next?
E poi c'era una cisterna romana, quindi abbiamo visto questo buco per terra e poi una porta murata, e lì allora ci siamo dovuti fermare.
So another discovery was a Roman cistern, because they were able to see from the hole in the ground. And then a roadblock, a blocked door. At that point, they had to stop. E quindi
abbiamo cominciato a pensare che quella porta andava demolita. Abbiamo chiesto il permesso alla famiglia che era vicina, ma non volevano che lo facessimo, allora ci siamo andati di notte durante il palio, durante la corsa all'anello, durante il festival medievale per fare il buco senza che nessuno se ne accorgesse.
So now we're getting into the juicy part. So they decided, obviously, that that wall had to be taken down to discover what was behind the wall. So the first thing was actually to ask permission to the neighbor, who unfortunately didn't give that permission. But that didn't stop our friends from doing something, you know, a little bit on a creative side. So in Narnia, there is a beautiful medieval celebration. It's called the Palio dell'Anello, the Palio of the Ring. It is an event where the whole town gets into the square. So there are a lot of loud noises, people celebrating. So they were cunning enough to use all the loud noise above ground to do what they had to do underground, ok? Quindi avete approfittato della baraonda, diciamo, sopra in superficie per fare quello che dovevate fare, che volevate fare.
Esatto, e bucare la porta ed entrare dall'altra parte. E così abbiamo scoperto le segrete dell'Inquisizione che erano state nascoste appositamente.
Okay, so by doing this little act of creative, you know, opening of this wall, they came to another big discovery, which was the rooms of inquisitions that probably with that door had been locked in history and no one knew anything about them. Descrivici un pochino lo spazio, appunto come sono andate avanti queste scoperte, che cosa avete visto, quali informazioni avete iniziato ad analizzare.
Allora, si trattava di un corridoio, un lungo corridoio con delle macerie, in fondo c'era questa grande sala, anch'essa con delle macerie, e una piccola porta che permetteva di entrare in una piccola prigione, completamente, con le pareti completamente piene di graffiti.
So what they had discovered, there was this long hallway, there was rubble everywhere, that led into a bigger room. And in this room, again, rubble everywhere, they noticed there was a very small door. And that door led to a very tiny prison rooms, a cell. And when they saw it, the prison cell was covered in graffitis. When we talk about graffitis, what kind of graffitis were they? Quando parliamo di graffiti, ma che tipo di graffiti erano?
Sono parole scritte, graffiate sull'intonaco. Quindi non sono scritte con la vernice, sono parole graffiate, incise sull'intonaco, con una punta.
So actually, these graffitis, so to speak, they were not painted; they were chiseled onto the wall. What did they represent? Were they figures? Were they words? Was it something that you all were able to understand? Erano figure, erano parole, erano cose che avete eravate.
Tante cose insieme che però al momento non si riusciva a capire il loro significato, e c'era una data, 1759, e poi c'era anche un nome, Giuseppe Andrea Lombardini, c'era il nome del prigioniero che aveva fatto i graffiti.
So there was a lot of information, there were symbols, there were things written that at that point they were not understanding, but there were two pieces of information that they were clear. One was a date, 1759, and then there was a name, Giuseppe Andrea, give me the Lombardini, who was indeed the prisoner and, so to speak, the person that had created all these graffitis. Come a questo punto, queste sono tante informazioni, tante cose che avete scoperto. Le avete condivise o in questo periodo, in quel periodo eravate ancora, diciamo, gli unici a conoscenza di tutto questo. So this is a lot of information, a lot of discoveries. Were you the only ones that knew about it, or did you start to share the information?
Abbiamo cercato di capire cosa era successo là sotto, però le persone con le quali parlavamo, nessuno credeva che avessimo fatto una scoperta così importante.
So they were trying to understand what really happened underground, you know, in these cells, in this room, and they were trying to get information from people, but no one was really believing that they had discovered something.
E la cosa interessante è stata, dopo aver aperto i sotterranei nel 1994 al pubblico, grazie a delle coincidenze, cioè a delle persone conosciute durante le visite guidate, come abbiamo conosciuto te, siamo riusciti ad entrare nell'archivio segreto vaticano, e lì è stata una grande scoperta.
So in 1994, these underground tunnels were open for the public to visit. And actually, thanks to a series of connections, mainly of visitors coming to see the underground tunnels, the same way that Roberto and I met, they met someone that gave them access to the Vatican archives. And that was a major game changer. Quali informazioni vi ha permesso di ottenere l'archivio Vaticano?
E siamo riusciti a trovare i documenti che parlavano di questo tribunale e di trovare anche la storia di questo prigioniero che aveva fatto i graffiti.
So what kind of information were able to find in the Vatican archives is actually the history of this Inquisition, of the rooms, and also the story of the prisoners that had been kept in that cell.
E una parte invece abbiamo trovato altri documenti, ma li abbiamo trovati al Dublino, al Trinity College, che erano arrivati lì dopo i furti fatti da Napoleone dei documenti a Roma. E lì abbiamo trovato un processo contro un bigamo scappato dalle carcere.
So actually, additional information was found in Dublin at the Trinity College. Some of the documents, obviously during Napoleon, you know, there were documents that had been stolen and somehow made it to Ireland. And these, in the archives of the Trinity College, they were able to find the story of a trial against a bigamous man.
Dimmi.
Quindi, qual era la connessione tra questo, diciamo, bigamo e Giuseppe? C'è una connessione oppure sono giusto casi diversi portati di fronte a questo tribunale?
Allora, sono casi diversi perché ci sono 33 anni di differenza tra uno e l'altro, però si svolgono tutti e due nello stesso luogo, cioè tutti e due in quel carcere, in quell'inquisizione. E quindi i documenti ci hanno permesso di capire come funzionavano questi processi.
So obviously we're not talking about the same individual. This is not Giuseppe Andrea. It's just another, it was another trial, but because the cases are about 33 years apart, but they all took place, they were all tried in this location. So by the Inquisition, so it enabled them to understand a little bit about how this Inquisition, how the trial, the court worked. Continua.
E quindi tutta questa storia ci ha permesso cioè questi documenti ci hanno permesso di trovare non solo la storia di queste persone, ma anche quello che veniva fatto là sotto. Quindi quella stanza che avevamo trovato si chiamava stanza dei tormenti, cioè lì era la stanza delle torture per far parlare i prigionieri.
Okay, so all these documents not only did give us information about the story of these individuals, but they actually disclosed, they shed light on what was going on underground during this in this space. So one of the bigger spaces that you can also visit during the tour is the torture chamber, pretty much different devices that were used to torture the prisoners so that they would speak. Can we go into details on some of the machinery that was used to make the prisoners speak? Ci puoi descrivere alcuni di questi apparati, di questi macchinari, diciamo, utilizzati per far parlare i prigionieri?
Sì, diciamo, quello più utilizzato era la corda, ossia il prigioniero veniva legato con le mani dietro la schiena e sollevato con la corda verso l'alto. Questo provocava dei dolori fortissimi alle spalle, alle scapole, e il prigioniero quasi sempre parlava.
So one of the probably most used apparatus, torturing apparatus, was the one where the prisoner would be tied with his hands behind his back, and then it was a rope that was just would elevate the prisoner, again tied with the hands behind the back, and that would create an enormous, atrocious pain in the shoulders and all in the back, and that would usually make them talk.
Poi ci sono, vabbè, altri strumenti, tipo il banco di stiramento, serviva per allungare gli arti, per cercare di convincere le persone a collaborare. Di solito la collaborazione c'era quasi sempre, perché nessuno voleva subire le torture.
Sì. Another very popular torture machine was the stretching table, where the prisoners were getting tied up, and obviously their limbs, upper and lower limbs, would be stretched. That would usually coerce some sort of, would lead to some sort of a confession or give out information. Ritorniamo un attimo in questa cella, perché in questa piccola prigione, come entriamo, veniamo trasportati in un altro mondo. Ci sono altri dettagli, altre informazioni che ci puoi descrivere? So when we enter this small cell where Giuseppe Andrea was held, you're immediately transported into a different world. There is not an inch that doesn't have graffiti. Non c'è un centimetro che non ha un segno, una scritta, un simbolo. Ce ne puoi. Can you tell us a little more about what you have managed to decipher?
E innanzitutto questa cella è un pezzo unico al mondo, non esiste niente del genere, è l'unica conservata perché purtroppo le prigioni dell'Inquisizione sono state tutte distrutte per cancellare un pezzo di storia. Questa si è salvata perché è rimasta murata.
So this little cell is actually unique in the world, so it's even more important because obviously all the other prisons of the Inquisition got demolished, got destroyed because it was a piece of history that people wanted to cancel. This one, because of the fact it was walled in, it was blocked to manage to remain to our days.
E la cosa interessante è che Giuseppe Andrea Lombardini usa tutto un linguaggio massonico, cioè lui trasforma questa prigione in una loggia massonica attraverso i simboli che conosce molto bene. Lui era un affiliato alla massoneria.
So the content of all these graffitis that Giuseppe Andrea left for us were all in the Masonic symbolism. So it's all covered again with different symbols.
E lui fa tutti i simboli che per noi sono stati difficili da comprendere, fin quando poi un turista massone ci ha detto che questi simboli li conosceva bene e ci ha aiutato a decifrarli. È come un puzzle, tante piccole tessere che riescono a formare un grande disegno.
So obviously when they first saw these symbols, they didn't really know what they were all about until, again, a tourist came to visit the underground prison who belonged to a Masonic group, and he recognized immediately the symbols and was able to help them to decipher what those symbols meant. Alcuni dei messaggi più importanti oppure dei simboli più importanti che fate anche diciamo vedere indicate durante una visita. Any of the symbols or the key messages that you usually point out during a visit?
Il sole, la luna, l'albero della vita, San Nicola che resuscita 3 bambini in una botte, ma questo è un miracolo con un simbolismo all'interno, perché Lombardini usa 3 numeri, 4, 3 e 7, che si trovano nella tradizione massonica. Quindi lui nasconde simboli massonici dentro a simboli religiosi.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting. Some of the symbols, for instance, the sun or the moon, the tree of life, the miracle of St. Nicholas who rescued 3 children from a keg. But this miracle, so there are some numbers that are linked to the Masonic tradition, the 4, the 3, and the 7. So Giuseppe Andrea was actually used in some of the religious representations to actually hide Masonic messages.
E poi fa anche un obelisco diviso in 7 spazi e una scala per andare verso la perfezione. C'è il triangolo con l'occhio all'interno. Sono poi simboli che si trovano anche nel dollaro, perché nel dollaro ci sono tutti i simboli massonici.
Mm-hmm. So this is like, for instance, there is an obelisk with 7 different sides. There is also the ladder to the sky, and the triangle with the eye. It is indeed profound. Once you go through the tour, you are in that room. It takes you a minute of just when all the other tourists are kind of out of the room to really take it all in. È un'esperienza unica, soprattutto una volta che diciamo il resto del gruppo esce da quella piccola prigione, da quella cella, avere un altro minuto là in quello spazio per cercare di assorbire tutto quello che è rappresentato.
Sì, si fa un viaggio indietro nel tempo e ci si immedesima nel personaggio che è stato rinchiuso là dentro. Si entra in un modo, si esce in un altro, non sei più te stesso.
Mm-hmm. So yes, it's kind of a journey, a travel through time in the past. You feel that you have become Giuseppe, Andrea, what his life could be. And it's almost like you come in one way and you come out changed, or at least a different person. It is fantastic. And then how does the tour continues? Because if I remember correctly, we ended up in a church. Una volta finita questa esperienza, si finisce nella chiesa o c'era anche qualche altra cosina prima?
C'è un'altra prigione dove ci sono adesso dei corpi trovati durante lo scavo archeologico.
Mm-hmm.
E poi si finisce nella chiesa dei Domenicani, che oggi è auditorium, dove abbiamo trovato i resti della chiesa antica, compreso un mosaico bizantino.
Mm-hmm. So there is another little prison there where they have the bodies of the people that have been excavated, have been found there. Just to finish up in the church of the Dominican monks, where they were able to find remains and even a mosaic of the old Byzantine church.
Esatto, quindi è tutta una scoperta, si fa un salto indietro nel tempo, dal periodo romano fino al 1700, quindi poi ecco, il turista non è semplice spettatore, ma diventa protagonista della storia, viene coinvolto nella storia.
So yes, it is indeed a travel through time from the Roman times all the way to the 1700s, and it is indeed a journey where the tourist, the traveler that comes, is not just a spectator, it becomes a part of the story.
Esatto, e la storia è talmente intrigante che ci sono due sogni nel cassetto. Uno è un film che speriamo di poter realizzare, anzi lanciamo un messaggio nel caso ci fosse un produttore interessato alla storia. L'altro invece è un'opera rock che è stata già composta e speriamo di mandarla presto sulle scene dei principali teatri italiani.
Mm-hmm. So out of this very fascinating story, there are indeed two wishes, something that they would like to see to come out of it. One would be to have a movie production. So there is a call out there for any producers or anyone that is interested to jump on the story and to create a bigger production. And the other one is actually there has been already a rock work that is rock music, a piece that's already been created. They would like to see that make into all the major theater in Italy. So for those of you that will be watching this interview also on our YouTube channel, there are some images from the site. Mauro, se posso un attimo tornare a te, let's talk to Mauro for a little bit. So tell us a little bit about some of the initiatives, the website, anything that you would like to share with our audience.
Okay. You're talking about this website or the Narnia in Italy?
About everything you want people to come and know about Narnia, how to find you, where the information is.
Okay. First of all, if I can, I would like to add something. While Roberto talked about the movie, because the tourists, when they end the visit in Narnia Underground, Narnia Sotterranea, always says to us that our story looks like a Vinci Code movie or something like this. Okay, that's why we decided that we hope to make a movie one day. Okay, the same thing about the rock opera, and the name of the rock opera is Anime Oltre, means souls beyond. Okay, what about the initiative? Okay, my duty is to help Roberto during the guided visit and also to get in touch with the media and social work and the initiative. What we want to do, we can do. Give me just a second. Okay, we have another dream. We want to make a kind of virtual tour as we done in the small church. Do you remember that?
So a virtual tour?
Yeah, remember the small church virtual tour we done? You saw? You remember? We want to make another one in the big church, the former cathedral, San Domenico. That is our plan, our initiative. Okay. And then we also have another thing that I want to like to speak about it, is the Formina Aqueduct. You know, during the visit, we talk about the ancient Roman aqueduct made in Narni, 10 miles more or less under the ground, and we want to make something like a virtual tour in that place too.
That is very very nice. Let me see.
You can see a picture of the Roman aqueduct, maybe in the website, in the Narni underground.
Okay, let's see if we can just to detour a little bit. Some of the other things that will happen in Narni. It seems that the town is still very good at keeping tradition. You talked about il Palio degli Anelli, the ring. La Corsa degli Anelli. Can you explain to us what actually happens during this event and what time of the year can people come and witness this beautiful event?
Okay, so our medieval reenactment, the name is Ring Race. It takes place at the end of April to the second half, the first part, sorry, the second Sunday of May. And that's why when Roberto discovered Narnia Underground, took advantage of the noise of the last parade. Okay, but there is a big noise, as you can see on the picture too. The festival is really, really nice. Trust me. You are bring back to the time. In the time, it's take around 2 weeks, or almost 3 weeks, and the traditional restaurant, locande, osteria, are open, and the food is really good. Trust me.
Totally believe you. What are some of the specialties that will be served during the festival, or in general in Narnia? What are some of the traditions?
Okay, the traditional dish in Narnia is manfricoli. It's a long pasta like fettuccine, but made just with water and flour, no eggs.
No eggs. So it's an eggless.
Yeah, with the tomato sauce, quite spicy, with a lot of parsley and a lot of garlic. It's a very simple but really, really good.
It sounds delicious. One question back to the costumes that people might see during this celebration. Maybe these are costumes that are getting passed down onto generations, and I see a lot of young people taking pride into participating in these events.
You're completely right. You have many young people, even kids. Okay, I tell you something about the parade. The parade is made by 800, more or less, people dressed like many centuries ago.
Yes, so we'll have to schedule our visit. Are there different roles? So what are men on a horse, where they will have to, I don't know, what's the function of the ring, or how is the actual palio? What's the competition about?
Okay, the competition, yeah, there are three knights with a spear. They must to catch a ring. So the cavalier who say more rings than the other one is the winner.
Oh, okay, wonderful. So are they in the town? Do you have like little contradas, or there are more teams?
3 terzieri, that's the real name, the contrada.
Terzieri, okay.
Yeah. Santa Maria, Fraporta e Mezzule.
Okay. Can I ask you which one you root for? Which one is your favorite? Can we say that?
Mezzule, Roberto, Santa Maria, me.
Okay, and you're still friends, right?
Doesn't matter. I mean, the festival is really nice, and the atmosphere is very particular. One day you must come.
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of festivals, especially when I was this summer I was in Sardinia, and I got to see hundreds and hundreds of costumes, all representing different towns, and so I'm always fascinated. I'm like a little kid in like a little Alice in Wonderland when I get to experience these beautiful traditions that are still getting carried on.
Okay. I want to just add something. Narni is 2,600 years old, more or less. So it's very old, as you can see. And the buildings are very old, very ancient. You feel it. And when during the feast, during the festival, with the candle lights, the dark, the narrow, the alleys, you feel like you're back in time.
Absolutely, it's very, yeah, definitely the candlelight gives it a complete different feel to it. Roberto, any last words? Qualcosa da aggiungere? Qualcosa da chiedere anche? Qualche altro cassetto? Qual è il sogno del cassetto?
Allora, i sogni sono tanti, però abbiamo detto quelli principali, quindi cerchiamo di realizzarli uno per volta.
Okay.
E innanzitutto no, un invito che faccio è quando venite in Italia per turismo, mettetelo come tappa Narni, vale la pena farci un salto perché è la città che non ti aspetti.
Mm-hmm. So I asked Roberto if there was any final wish or request, and it's only a very simple one, because the big ones that I have already talked about is to invite all of you to go and visit Narni, so to put it onto your on your map, on your travel map, because it's going to be a place that is going to surprise you. And I'm actually going to share a couple of pictures maybe from my trip. Let's see, hopefully I will not get myself in trouble by having any pictures where I'm like making faces, but this is a beautiful shot of, and here is while I'm waiting for the tour to start. So this is kind of the very beginning, and then after that, no pictures, just stories. So just it was a beautiful day. And this is one of the artisans. I was asking if he was still in business. He makes a lot of things in copper and also rings out of nails, which I adore mine. Let's see, this is also in one of the most important squares that you have. There was also a, let me see here, we went actually in a couple of buildings because they're very old. So you might discover that there is a little fresco or something that you wouldn't expect. This is kind of approaching, coming closer to your location. And let me see. Okay, and then I think we had also a choir. Yeah, there was a choir that sang. Some of the ladies, obviously lots of shops. And who is this, the statue of?
This is a Cocello Nerva, one of the Roman figures, was born in Narnia.
Okay. So, and then also very nice, something that actually puts us in the same, we have, we call them inclines here in Pittsburgh. We're famous for the inclines. We have two, they're still operating. And here also you can enjoy taking a funicolare, the incline. Okay, and this is, with this image, this is kind of the representation. What does the symbol?
It's a griffin.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so wonderful. So again, I wanted to thank you again for taking us onto an underground journey that I'm sure all our guests will enjoy hearing about, and even better if you go in person. The tours are also provided in Italian, in English. Do we have in Spanish as well? And whenever you go there, make sure you ask for Roberto, and if also Mauro is around, so that you can say, oh, we heard this about the story about Narni Underground at the Italian Radio Hour. I'm sure you will be treated to an excellent tour. Vi ringrazio per la vostra disponibilità, non vedo l'ora di venire a trovarvi una seconda volta ed eventualmente anche farla coincidere con il palio.
Grazie.
Grazie a te, è stato un piacere. Siamo qua quando vuoi.
Thank you, thank you.
It's been a pleasure. We are here whenever you want.
See you later.
Okay, ciao, ciao.